Hey folks, Ray from DCRainmaker.com here. Today I've got Wahoo's newest bike computer, the Wahoo ELEMNT MINI. Now, this is their third Element generation, Element branded bike computer, but it's not at all like the previous two. So the very first one was Wahoo Element, and then there was the Element Bolt this past spring, back in March or so, and now we have the Mini. But unlike those computers, this is A, a lot cheaper, B, targeted towards a bit of a different audience, if you will, and then C, has quite a bit different feature set. There are some overlap, but there's a lot of things you probably definitely want to be aware of. So I'm going to walk through it. First, we're going to start off with the unboxing, of course, then do a bit of a size and weight comparison, and then I'll talk about how it works and some of the features, including some really important gotchas that you definitely want to understand. So let's dive into it. What we have here is the box itself. You'll notice that the Element is sitting right inside there. Now the Element is 99 bucks in the US, and it does come with a speed sensor. So the Wahoo speed sensor is included in this box itself. So if we go and slide this out right there, we've got the Element sitting right there. We'll plop it out. And then here on this side or underneath there, we have the extra accessories. And so for one, we have here the mount that you include. So you basically take the back of it. It's a quarter turn mount. It's not technically compatible with Garmin's quarter turn mount. You can make it work though if you file this tab down just a tiny bit. It almost fits. Like, it makes it work on the rubber mounts. You can kind of jam it in there, and I do it all the time, but ideally use their quarter turn mount. There are actually a lot of third-party companies now making Wahoo Element mounts. For example, Barfly and K-Edge, I think someone else as well is doing that, so you're not really out on your own entirely. Anyways, there's that off the side. We then have the zip tie. I don't know why in mine I've only got one zip tie per box. I'm not sure if it was just an accidental thing, but in any case, I only have one zip tie. You're supposed to have two, one for each, whatever. And then there is the Wahoo speed sensor in here. So this is a dual ANT+ and Bluetooth smart sensor. It's called the Wahoo Speed, but it's just simply a speed sensor for your bike. You put it on the rear hub or the front hub. Ideally the rear hub, because that usually is on a trainer. If you're indoors, you can get speed there as well. But this transmits out dual ANT+ and Bluetooth smart, as I mentioned. This isn't a new product. Wahoo's had this now for a couple years, I think. They also have the RPM sensor, which is the cadence sensor. And then they have the heart rate straps, which are the ticker heart rate straps. Then last but not least, we have the product safety guide, basically the usual. If you get killed, totally not their fault. And then we have a quick start guide as well. Super easy. You're going to use your phone to get this thing up and running. So let's go and move the box out of the way and talk weights and sizes. We'll slide this over here, pop, toss. So grabbing the scale right here, what I've got is my hand-to-dandy little scale, and I've got a couple extra units to sort of compare sizes with. First off, we'll start off with the Element itself. We will take the plastic thing off in case there's a tiny bit of weight difference there. The Element Mini is 31 grams. Then we have the Wahoo Element Bolt. This is kind of the one that's like the middle of the road from a price as well as size standpoint, but has the same features as the full Wahoo Element. That is at 62 grams. And then finally we have the full Wahoo Element at 104 grams. Now, in this market, kind of lower end, there aren't really a lot of competitors. The Cat-Eye Strata Smart is almost 3 years old now. That's sort of the same market audience target as this Mini here. There is the Garmin Edge 35, but that's a lot more expensive. It's $169, but it does actually have GPS in it. There's kind of pros and cons to each one. In any case, the weight and size on that one is 24 grams. If we line these all up to look at the sizes real quick here, you'll see the difference in terms of size much more clearly now. So looking at the sizes, we've got the Wahoo Element up here. This is the full-size one. Then we move down to the Bolt in the middle, then the Mini, and then the Edge 25 from Garmin being the smallest of those. But again, there's different features for each one, and so there are things that are not available on the Garmin that are available on the Mini, and vice versa, so you may value things on one versus the other. Now that we've talked weight and size, we need to talk about something kind of important here with the Mini. So the first thing to understand with the Element Mini is that it does not have GPS at all. Instead, it depends on your phone or the sensor that was included with it. So if I grab my phone right here, it's already pre-paired up to the Mini. It just takes a second to do that. You just scan a barcode and you're good to go. What you'll notice is that I can go ahead and customize the settings from my phone itself. For example, I can customize the data fields and the data pages, and quite a bit more than you could on that Garmin Edge 35 that you saw, sorry, Edge 25 that you saw over there. In this case, I can do effectively unlimited data pages and up to 3 fields per page. There are tons and tons and tons of different pages to choose, or different fields to choose here. I can customize those pages. I can choose the different metrics on them and the order they're displayed. It's a lot more flexible than what Garmin is at that lower end. On the flip side, Garmin has GPS and this doesn't. So how does this work? Well, there's 2 modes. On one hand, there's a called phone free mode. So in phone free mode, it's going to use the Wahoo speed sensor to tell you speed and distance. And if you want to pair it to other sensors like a heart rate or a cadence sensor, it'll use those and show that data on the screen as well. On the other hand, you have the phone paired mode. In phone paired mode, it's going to use the GPS here as well as the sensor data too, and consolidate that all into this little display. And the end resultant is data that looks almost identical to the Wahoo. You get full second-by-second resolution data that uploads to Strava with your map, your tracks. You can also do laps. You can do laps on both by simply holding down this page button there for a couple seconds and it creates a lap. It is in a lot of ways like a Bolt without the navigation and without some of the power meter features or the trainer features that are included on the higher end computers. But there is a catch. When I said sensors a minute ago, I was only talking Wahoo sensors. And in particular, I was only talking Wahoo dual band sensors. And the reason for that is that what Wahoo is doing here with the Mini is actually pairing a dual band sensor across 2 channels. On one side, they have the Mini, which connects to the ANT+ signal coming out from the speed sensor, the heart rate strap, the RPM pod, or again, the speed sensor. And on the other side, they have the Bluetooth Smart channel, which is paired to the phone right here. So that's where they require a dual band sensor, which isn't horrible per se. I mean, I think the architecture is a little wonky because they have the other red computers that are able to pair just fine. Now, why would they do this? Well, what their goal is that you could go ahead and use this in a phone-free mode. So if I were to drop this into a pond right now, this will work just fine for giving me speed and distance and cadence and heart rate and all that kind of goodness without any phone at all. At the same time, they also want to allow you to upload all that full fidelity data to sites like Strava and MapMyFitness and whatever else you want using the phone and the sensor there. Unfortunately, unlike their Bolt and Element series, their higher-end bike units, there is no way that this unit will talk via Bluetooth Smart or even via ANT+ and record that data to this unit itself. Instead, the high fidelity data is only recorded on the phone, which becomes a bit of a pickle. So that means that you cannot use anything other than the Wahoo sensors, and even that other than the Wahoo dual mode sensors. So if you have an older Blue SC or Blue HR heart rate strap from a long time ago, like 5 years ago, that's no good, even though it's Wahoo. At the same time, if you have, let's say, an entire drawer full of heart rate straps, like this right here, nothing here is actually compatible with the Mini, nor is anything in my sensors drawer right here compatible with the Mini, despite the fact that all of these sensors right here, everything in there is actually compatible with the Element Bolt and the Element. And that's because nothing else left in this drawer at this point in time is Wahoo branded. It is purely standard ANT+ or standard Bluetooth Smart or even dual. So for example, this Viva strap from 4eyes is dual ANT+ and Bluetooth Smart. It's not compatible. Wahoo says they probably could add it to a database to make it compatible, but there's no guarantee of that happening. Or perhaps this Garmin strap. These are, a couple million of these sold, also not compatible. Next, Suunto straps. Bluetooth Smart, again, not compatible. I could really do this all day long. Polar strap, Polar H6, H7, H10, not compatible, despite the fact that this would work just fine. So that's where it gets a little bit tricky, and that's where I'm a bit disappointed in Wahoo because they're essentially taking the easy route out. Now, I say the easy route out because I don't think they're doing this because they want to sell extra accessories. So that would be logical. I actually don't believe that's the case. And talking with them pretty extensively, and by talking I mean having a long argument with them, the real reason is that it's just technically difficult to do what they wanted to do, and I think they've gotten to the point where they've said they're just not going to do that anymore. Now the real reason is really they wanted to have a phone-free mode with the Element Mini. And that's sort of a nice goal to have, but I'm not really sure there's a market for that, to be quite honest, because I don't know anybody who rides anymore without their phone somewhere on their person. The only exception to that would be in races and in other scenarios that don't allow a phone. But for most riders, they're going to have their phone with them. And for races, since this does not record by itself, meaning it only shows you the summary of the total distance, it wouldn't really be that useful. So you would need a phone anyways in that case. Therefore, I think they're kind of engineering for a use case that doesn't exist. And unfortunately, in doing that, I think they've boxed themselves into a bit of a corner here, where instead of having sensors connect to the head unit, and the head unit then connects to the phone, they've tried to make this dual mode thing, which is kind of nifty engineering-wise, but not really all that practical for consumers that already have existing gear. Which isn't to say that this isn't a good unit. In fact, it's actually pretty good, but it's only a good unit if you don't already have sensors and if you don't care about some of the limitations I just talked about. So if you are just getting into cycling and you happen to have Wahoo gear already, or you don't have any gear already, in that case, the Mini is a great little unit. In fact, there's a lot of things that Mini does well that there's really nobody else doing in that price range. For example, live tracking. I can do this on the Mini just like I would on the Element Bolt and the full-size Element. The same goes for uploading to Strava and all these other third-party sites and services. Super easy with the Mini. As soon as I press stop and end, it shows up on my phone, and then seconds later it's on Strava. That's all great. Same goes for customizations of data fields and data pages. Far better than what we've seen in other options out there on the market today. You know, if we look back at the old Reflect, for example, or look at something like the Bontrager Node, Node 1, Node 2, that was different stuff. Even the Garmin units can't be customized as much as this. From an accuracy standpoint, it's a bit tough to like judge that because accuracy depends on my phone, right? It's using the GPS from my phone. Nonetheless, I did look at some routes I've done with it over the last couple weeks and found that the accuracy was good to a degree. The challenge again was the phone. This is a brand new iPhone 7, and in some cases in my back jersey pocket, cycling down relatively straight roads, but with some buildings on either side, somewhat tall buildings, that it struggled quite a bit. These are probably like 7 to 10 story buildings, whereas in open areas, it was perfectly fine. On that exact same road at the exact same time, I had a couple Garmin Edge 520s and an 820, and no issues tracking down that road at all. But that again, it's going to vary on your phone. Some phones will be good, some phones will be bad. It is what it is. Finally, I want to spend just a few seconds close up with the Element Mini to show you how easy it is to use. I know you saw a lot in the video there up to this point, but I want to kind of make it really simple and straightforward. What you have here is the Element companion app. This is the same app as used for the Bolt. As I showed you earlier, you can customize pages right there. This is where I can add pages. I can go into a given page here. I can change the data fields, for example. Plenty of data fields to choose from. Really super easy. You can add up to 3 data fields per page, and it seems like unlimited pages. I haven't really found the end of the number of pages I can have there. Setting up the sensors is really simple as well. When I go into the sensors menu, I can see the other Wahoo sensors that are available nearby. There's a Ticker X I'm wearing. It also works with the existing Ticker. The Wahoo cadence sensor and the Wahoo speed sensor that's included itself. This is also where I can change the wheel circumference as well right there. If I go back to the main menu here, you'll see the live track option. This is where I can go and set up live tracking so that it shares a link, my live tracking link, as soon as I start or press that start button there to my friends and family, or as well Twitter or Facebook, whatever you'd like. The exact same kind of functionality that's on the existing Element and Element Bolt. The one caveat is keep in mind there is no routing functionality on the Mini, therefore you're not going to be able to see the previously planned route on the tracking link. You will see where you are, but just not where you're planning on going. Auto pause, you can turn it on and off. Automatic upload, there actually is no Wi-Fi on this. It's just kind of the beta app isn't updated to remove the Wi-Fi there. That's just via Bluetooth Smart. I can get alerts for phone calls and text messages on the Mini itself, as well as the do not disturb mode to go ahead and tell people to stop texting me. Basically, that just simply ignores them for a set period of time, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, and so on. Then I've got the auto shut-off capability down at the bottom there. Pretty straightforward there. And the left-hand side, you can see if I press this ride button right there, you can see the sensors that are connected right there. So you can see the heart rate strap that I'm wearing, the cadence sensor and the speed sensor. They've gone to sleep here as I've been talking, so they're not showing up right there. And then finally the results, so I can look at past rides that I have here. So here's this ride from a couple days ago that I did. I can see the map. This is with the full phone and sensor mode together, so I can see my speed, my heart rate, my cadence, climbing the altitude using my iPhone there, and my total time from that ride. And then I can share it to sites up here, for example, Ride with GPS, Strava Training Peaks, Today's Plan, email, the fit files, and so on. On the unit itself, if we look at that really quickly, you'll see what I do is I can go press the start button right here. It's going to use, again, my GPS location from my phone. You see that right there, it just said that. And I can change the data pages by simply pressing this page button, and I can iterate through them. This bottom cell there is across the entire bottom, and then the top left-hand side is my second cell, and the top right-hand side is my third cell, and I can change those as I saw the customization there. If I want to go ahead and create a lap, I can simply hold down the lap button like this, and there it creates a lap marker that software apps like, again, Strava, Training Peaks, and so on can view really easily. And I can iterate through all the different data fields. At the top, you'll always see the time of day, which is kind of nice, as well as whether or not it's connected to Bluetooth Smart, my phone, using that little logo there. And then I can press pause to pause the ride, and then I can press end to end the ride, and it'll give me a very basic summary page here. Really only kind of 3 things on this page, so time, distance, and average speed, and then average heart rate and calories. And if I had the RPM sensor active and paired, it would also show me the average for that. With that, thanks for watching. Do not forget to hit that like button down below, as well as the subscribe button. We've got August coming up. Well, August is here now, and there is a ton of cool stuff coming out, especially over the next few weeks, and especially towards the later portion of the month as well. It is, of course, the big Eurobike coming up at the end of the month, and then immediately after that, we have Interbike. There's also a consumer wearable show after that. It's going to be pretty crazy busy. You do not want to miss anything. You can also whack that little ding-dong bell down in the corner there, and you get notified the second embargo pops, just like right now. So you get the video the second something is announced. Have a good